Please welcome Senator Brian Nieves. My, I am excited to be here with you today, and I'm going to tell you what, how many of you throughout the course of your life at some point have said these words? Just, if you've ever said these words, I want you to give a big hoop and holler for Ed Martin. If you've ever said, "What is wrong with those dummies in Washington, D.C.?" Well, I'm going to tell you what. Missouri's 2nd Congressional District has had a pretty good history of having a conservative Republican serve in that seat. Have we not? Yeah. And so now we have to make sure that that seat remains conservative. And some people have asked me, they've said, "Brian, what is your tie to Ed Martin? How are you tied to Ed Martin?" And some people may not know this. I'm going to tell you a little bit of a secret right now, and that is several years ago, before it was really cool, okay, before it was really cool, Ed Martin came to me in my office when I was still serving in the House. And he said, I don't remember the exact words, so I'm going to paraphrase, but he said, "Brian, we need a true blue state sovereignty, don't tread on me maniac to handle a bill that I've been cooking up with another guy." And the look he had on his face, I said, "Oh, I think I'm going to like this," okay? Ed Martin, now candidate for U.S. Congress, connected me to the folks where together we wrote what is probably the most hardcore pit bull state sovereignty piece of legislation that these United States of America have ever seen in modern times. And some of you may know it by name, some of you may know it by number. When I was in the House, it was called HJR 88. In the Senate, it's SJR 15. And I can wrap it up by telling you this. It's about a page and a half, 2 pages, that backs up this opening statement. The state of Missouri shall not recognize, act in furtherance of, or enforce any act of the federal government that is in operation outside of Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution. And then it goes through a laundry list of things that the federal government has routinely overstepped its bounds on, and basically says that the state of Missouri will not recognize, act in furtherance of, or enforce any of those things. And folks, I've enjoyed a lot of, bad publicity from the left and good publicity from the right about that issue, about being the sponsor of that legislation. But I'm going to tell you right here, I think this is the first time I've said it publicly. That was brought to me, and I was connected to the people where we sat down and hashed out that piece of legislation. That all started with a guy named Ed Martin years ago, before it was cool to be state sovereignty, to be a state sovereignty guy. And you know what that makes me believe? That makes me believe that when, not if, when Ed Martin is seated in the U.S. Congress, we will have one less of those 435 yahoos to have to throw our shoe at the television about, beat the dashboard of our car as we listen to the radio about. We'll have one less congressperson to have to say what's wrong with those dinglings in Washington, D.C. Are you excited about that? Yeah! Are you excited about the real possibility, probability, and I believe soon coming fact that we are going to show the establishment what happens when a bunch of grassroots, regular, everyday people get behind a candidate and make it happen in a real grassroots way? Can you just imagine the likes of Nancy Pelosi, okay? The first time that she meets Ed Martin as a new congressman. I'm telling you, I'm going to start saving my pennies, and I would advise you to do the same. I'm going to start saving my pennies other than what I'll contribute to Ed's campaign. I'm going to start saving my pennies so that I can go to Washington, D.C. and see the look on Nancy Pelosi's face. Now, that's a scary enough face as it is, but to see the look on Nancy Pelosi's face when she sees that Ed Martin has been seated as the new congressman of Missouri's 2nd Congressional District. So I'm just believing with all of you that Ed is going to be a congressman that understands the desires of the people of Missouri when we say concerning federal dollars, concerning stimulus dollars, concerning cash for clunkers, all that kind of stuff. You know, when we look at Ed and say concerning federal dollars, keep your filthy lucre in Washington, D.C., we don't want it. I think Ed will be smiling just as big then as he is now. And so if you will all help me to give a round of applause like South County has never seen for our next 2nd District Congressman, Ed Martin.